Makes sense if like all of a sudden your skills and whatnot were thrown off. It's very possible they had a minor update, one that's not
Mine were
worthy of
fine.
noting. So, moving on. So, you.
I
Um,
point that out and then I get my shotgun out.
okay. He nods and he's like, shit. All right.
And then I actually, I'm going to go back down to engineering and power up the boarding room.
Hold up. Um, so we're here to make sure everything is on the up and up, and we're here to make sure everything's good. I'm gonna keep things pretty simple for you, okay? The vessel that we're going to collect, it was not a military vessel. It was a science vessel.
What was it researching?
That's above my pay grade. The important thing is that what they were working on, we're supposed to collect.
I think Cracked is just gonna just kind of go, just clear his throat a bit, and just look towards Clark and says, "Well, do you want me to put a few holes in the other ship?"
It's unwise to do that before we also want to assist any civilians on that shift or science personnel. Yes, that is the job we were paid to do. But that would just cause further
No,
issues.
if there's no closed locks between one and the other, and if those systems are shut down right now between the open vessels, puncturing their hull could vacate the atmosphere in all three of the ships, in theory. So let's not do that.
Yeah, that makes the job easier.
But it also makes everybody dead. No, let's get closer, and we're gonna run a scan on the entire ships and see if we can find any life on there.
On the other hand, if we do board, and then she puts like a hand on Crax's shoulder and is like, it means you'll get to try out your weapon again. Well, I'll get to see your weapon in practice. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. But words.
He kind of just like looks at your hand as you put it on his shoulder, and
I
Krogan
imagine it's like,
facial features are just like
He's sitting.
different. It's
But
just
then.
he's like, ugh. I know what you did.
Dirty
You know where
girl.
those hands have been.
Like,
Dirty
I
girl.
don't think you took a shower.
Word spreads quickly.
Do we even have a shower?
Probably not.
We have a bath, literally.
It was one of the life support systems that you shut down.
Yeah, I was figuring it's
It's funny.
you shut down life support. That includes
We stinky.
other things.
Well, the suits have got air fresheners in. Surely.
I mean-
Hopefully.
Maybe.
We poop in there. I'm sure we
Okay.
do.
Do you go downstairs and recalibrate the systems to redistribute the power in any way? Or do you still leave it with? How do you redistribute it back to normal functions?
I would basically back to normal functions because one of the things I disabled was the entire boarding
Yep.
system, more or less.
So you go down there,
So-
and everything comes online. However, as I said beforehand, that boarding thing looked like it should be able to work no problem. When you stole all the power from it, you stopped it from currently functioning, which now it has to reboot itself. And much like when the ship first started to boot up, it had some problems. You're gonna have to roll for me an electronics intelligence check to
I just
properly.
need to smack it a few times.
It's Bert.
Okay, it takes a moment and a hiccup. So it's kind of like once you get all the processes going, and everything starts coming back online. You're like, okay, fine, and you just talk to the VI to get things going, and then all of a sudden you hear the VI says, error, function number 37282 is not coming online. Function number 37282 is not coming online. And you go over and you like check it, and it's like, and you're like, ah, fuck the boarding thing. And so you think about it for a second, beep, and all of a sudden, it's like, error corrected. Function number 38272 is online, and things are working fine now. So,
Yeah. Good. I'm great.
as you guys are getting closer, could you do me a favor? Send you a Rickroll. Could you roll me that? Just scan the vessel for life and whatnot. So scans are going to work the same way as we said before. Intelligence or wisdom, perception or electronics.
I'll keep going with electronics. It's been doing me well so far.
Okay, that's a pretty sweet roll. So, checking through the thing, looking for life forms throughout the entire vessel. So, what do your systems actually pick up in general? One, you pick up that the vessel currently has very, very, very low atmosphere. Sorry, yeah, atmosphere, if any at all. The life support systems are completely shut off. Two, the grav is in fact turned on for all of them. That's a basic function that's almost always running. So, the gravity is turned on for all of the vessels. Excuse me. Three, you are getting little plugs of heat here and there and electronic signatures here and there that could potentially be living people, maybe, but you don't know if they are living people or not. It's like this could be like a smaller functioning system that's like running hot, or a bigger system that's running cold, or it could be a person. It's kind of hard to pick it up. But life support is definitely offline in there. General power is definitely online in there. As a matter of fact, even the lights themselves, like you can tell it's dark inside these vessels. They are in fact dark. So
Yeah, I would be putting all this information on the main screen in like a little corner tucked away. Like I'd have a little mini map there and like make that the overlay and like thermal and whatnot, so that people could see at a glance like what's going on.
Sure. So when that happens, Lieutenant Clark hops onto the comms again and says, Entree, could you grab for us, pull from one of the systems that we don't think really needs it, an extra power cell B? We might need it to get their systems online to look for things.
So you said we would have had one power free if we had all our systems
Grabbing
online,
one power cell B from the ship to borrow it, I won't like tax the system. You know what I mean? If you're grabbing more than that,
we're picking up a literal power cell.
Yeah, like a power cell.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll pick it up, and I imagine it's too big to be hard pointed. I would carry it in one hand then.
Hard points are designed specifically for weapons, but
light points is what I meant.
But, yeah, definitely too big for that.
It's probably like a briefcase size thing, right?
Yeah, I'm actually.
That's what I'm imagining.
Look, I think it's a 3 encumbrance, but I'm checking right now for you.
Oh, so I'd have to carry it in 2 hands, which I'm fine to do.
It's 1 encumbrance. It's actually only 1 encumbrance. It's just A's 3 of them equal. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah.
It's like a car battery, you know. But futuristic and powerful.
I'll do that, and I'll ready my pistol in my other hand then.
Okay.
Put that in the left and pistol in the other, getting ready for stuff.
Okay. And so you grab a Type B power cell to bring with you to be able to get some sort of power into the systems if you need to get them online. He looks to the Solarian and says, which do you think is best for boarding?
Well, we could probably dock with your Alliance vessel, and we might find what we're looking for faster than if we were to go through the Batarian ship. However, if we dock with the Batarian ship, we might encounter unwelcome people, but we'd have a higher chance of securing the vessel earlier.
We could be walking into a firefight immediately, but at least we get it out of the way. But that also puts our ship at risk.
Assuming people are still alive, time might be of the essence.
No matter which ship we choose to dock with, we're going to have to use the boring hole. We're not going to be able to just straight dock. Nobody else is a free spot for that. He looks to the Krogan, and he's like, which one do you think is the best for docking?
He just looks... He's focused on the little screen, and he just like looks away, obvious like head tilt. It's like, probably the Batarian.
Imagine about now that Antoine comes in, carrying like her pistol in one hand, just like making sure that it's functioning or whatever, and the Type C power cell in the other hand. And he looks to her as he's, you know, you hear him kind of saying what he's saying, and then he turns to her and says, "Which one do you think is out of the 3 ships best for us to dock onto?"
Alliance ship. You understand human ships. You understand much more how to dock with a human ship and what we're more likely to come across there.
Another hole in the on the vessel we're coming to find, as opposed to the military one.
She thinks for a bit. it might be best to dock onto the military craft. Because if you imagine there'll be more Batarians filtering through from their ship, we'll have the less threat from docking on their military craft, and may even find something useful.
This went dark days ago. I'd be surprised if there's any form of filtering.
Filtering as in, oh, well, it's still more likely. That's just how things be. But she kind of shakes her head like, I know very little about ship-to-ship combat and boarding. I am designed to be a fighter on the field.
Cattle would chime in at this point, while there's a brief lull, and be like, if you dock with the Alliance military vessel, you might be able to power up some systems and allow me to dig around in there, possibly figure out what is going on.
They were the first ones on the scene to find out. Their scanners themselves may have picked something up along the way. That's not a bad idea. All right, it just seems such a waste to bore a hole into such a beautiful ship. He says, looking at this huge clunky brick of a ship that all of you guys are looking at it. There's no grace to this ship whatsoever. Even to the Krogan, who appreciates function over finesse.
Are there even any guns on it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The military one, absolutely, there are guns on it, but it's one of those like it's an ugly ship.
Yeah, but yeah, the guns aren't. They're not in good trophy-looking places.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those like. So he's like on such a beautiful looking ship. All right, I will land us. I'll get us close by. And we'll bore into it, and we'll board the Alliance vessel, the Alliance military vessel. So once again, just to kind of describe the way this is, if you have a ship right here, that was the one that you guys were originally searching for. You have a Batarian ship stuck on right here. That's a seemingly Batarian ship stuck on right here that bore a hole into it. Then you have an Alliance ship that like landed on top right here, and now you guys are gonna be landing on top of that Alliance ship. So it's like one ship to another ship to another ship to another ship, like sorry, over here. So it's like 4 in a row. You know what I mean? So we you guys, he starts bringing it in and bringing it down as smoothly as he can. For this one, I actually do have to roll because most of the things I've done so far have been routine for his skill level, because once you hit a certain skill level, you roll less and less often. It's like a perk of having a high skill is you don't have to roll the skill as often. For this one, he actually will have to, for his piloting. And pilot. Okay, here we go. Actually, he rolls 3d6, doesn't he, with piloting? Come to think of it. Because he's really good at pilot, isn't he? Yeah. Give me 1 second. I just have to check his abilities. Where is your PDF? There you are. Starfarer. No, automatically. So it's decryption. He rolls that. Okay, cool. So let me go back to where I was and do what I was doing. Stop being stupid, Scott. All right.
Yeah, Scott. You're stupid.
And now I'm messing with the wrong character sheet. I'm messing with poor Rick's character sheet.
What are you doing?
All right.
What's going on?
I'm better now.
I just want to shoot some boys.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Pilot roll. Intelligence. Wow. There you go. First roll he makes. He rolled a 5 and a 4. Plus a bunch. So he gets a 12. And he very easily lands the thing to land perfectly where he needs to on the vessel to bore into one of its weakest spots. And so now you go there and you trigger the boring device, which the way it works is like on the outside of the hull, like a little bridge kind of goes down and locks down onto the ship beneath it, like magnetically sealing the two. And then you start to hear like this grinding noise and feel some vibrations coming through the hull of your own ship as it's literally like buzzsawing through the actual hull on the other side. And as it's like...
I imagine, as we've got like 2 little like legs on the ship, I imagine that the like shaft comes out from in between those legs because it's a human ship after all.
There you go. So, oh, that's funny. So it buzzsaws
Won't
through.
see that with no Asari ship.
No, the Starship would just, parasite onto it.
Yeah.
Sorry, parasites.
So it buzzsaws through, and the metal that was attached to it drops down below. It actually, technically speaking, as part of the thing, is a little device. Beep, lands onto the piece. A Mass Effect field allows it to drop down slowly as opposed to quickly. However, like I said, this thing doesn't fully function, so it never actually released the little device. So it just goes on the inside of the ship, the hunk of metal that was cut free. And then because the whole thing has a seal to it, eventually, like it starts to slowly fill in the area with your what's it called? Air. Yeah, thank you. Life support.
Atmosphere.
It starts to slowly fill it in with your life support, but at the bottom of the vessel, it actually seals off. So after it cuts the hole open, it seals it shut, and then vacuums out whatever it took from there, and then fills it up with your own life support. So there's actually like a now little tunnel with an opening and closing door that brings you between your ship to the tunnel and then to their ship. So it's like two sphincters in there, and it makes it very safe for you to get your way through. However, as this is all happening, sadly, again, the boarding thing is not working very well, but the sensors on your ship are. And it's like you're getting like red flags, like red alerts on your screen there, Rick. And they're more or less telling you like there is no atmosphere outside of that, of your shaft itself. And more than that, the shaft itself actually has some sidewall damage, some like pinhole, like micro size holes to it, which is making it so that the atmosphere inside the actual shaft is not stable. Like it'll fill up and it'll just randomly just needs like a to fill up the air again as its pinhole leaking out. Now I understand the way the vacuum of space works, and I understand that a pinhole is like extremely hard vacuum. Like I get all that. These are very, very, very tiny holes that are leaving for very, 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 very tiny leaks. Nothing that's going to just
space
vacate
tech.
Instantly. And it's space
There's
tech.
like 6 gazillion ways to design this exact thing not happening, which is when it does happen, it's not terrible.
So what are you, so you guys, you have that information. I assume you share that with everybody else, Rick.
Yeah, naturally.
Okay. And he's like, everybody has suits, so we're going to have to suit up because they don't have an atmosphere. I think probably our first thing that we're going to do when we get there, when we're able to get onto the ship and secure the bridge, immediately we're going to want to turn their systems on and vacuum seal the entire ship. That way we can at least fill up the Alliance ship's life support. At least get things a little bit safer for us than leaving everything exposed. We don't want to put our own ship in danger because of the lack of support on this ship. Understood?
Would you prefer it if I stayed on this vessel then and used our sensors here to figure out, like, try to look ahead, provide tactical support, also make sure someone is on this ship so they can't just walk away with it? Or would you rather have me go with you?
He points to where the Krogan's sitting. He's like, you know how to use those?
Can't say I'm too familiar with them.
You do know how to use guns on a ship, just like you said, can't say I'm not too familiar with them. It is probably the most accurate response. And he's like, but you can pull the trigger.
Definitely.
Krax, can you aim that at the Batarian vessel to the best of your ability with the angling as we're currently boarded?
You can like, if he looks at the screen, like both guns are like, one is pointed generally where the engine core is, and the other's like generally where the deck is. It's like he just looks at the Solarian and it's just like, you just pull the buttons.
Nice.
Here, let me show
Point
you.
and click.
So so all that happens. One of the other things that you do notice, though, Rick. So you want to check the scanners? We'll do that actually as they're boarding the ship. We'll do that. So he nods. Then he nods back to you and says, "That's not a bad idea. I actually would like to leave Krax with you, but I think it would behoove us to have him on our vessel." And he looks onto it and says, "And you can handle the electronics components?"
It should be, as your kind say, a piece of cake.
He like raises an eyebrow to that, like funny that you say that phrase. And he's like kind of thinking, remembering back to that was something that his mom used to always say. Like, a piece of
Which is
candy.
probably where he got it.
Yep.
Of course.
So
yeah.
like he like raises an eyebrow.
Kind of
and
what I was thinking.
all of a sudden, all these like Oedipus complex emotions start to wave over him, and he falls deeply in love with your character. No.
Even
So
further? Jesus.
so
He's just fascinated right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the excuse
Call it
I
whatever
give
you
anyway.
will.
he's like, all right, let's get down below and get ready for boarding. And so you guys do. You get your stuff together. You go down to the lower deck area. You go to the boarding area, and he kind of checks on his comms over with Rick, and he's like, "Seal holding."
All right, I will
It was
do
a
that.
question.
Oh, it's as sealed as it can be.
All right. And like he's like, open up the first door,
Boop.
and the door opens up, and then there's like a ladder going down to the lower one. But the funny thing is, even though there's a ladder going down to the lower one, he actually just kind of like jumps forward into the hole area and immediately starts to fall. But as soon as he starts to fall and into like that shaft area, which is about I want to say 4 meters long, the shaft, all of a sudden he starts floating inside the shaft because there's zero gravity inside there. And he starts floating inside there, and he kind of like reaches out and grabs onto, and it's like a lot of force for him to do it, like reaches out and grabs onto the rung that's on the side and uses that rung to like spin himself around and pulling himself forward down towards the second doorway. How do the two of you jump into the or get into the hole?
Yeah, Crax is just going to look at Antari and just, I think I should go before you. And he just like jumps in. Now this is just going straight down vertically to the next door, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he just has like his gun in his hand. He's like looking down, just hunched over, looking at the door. He's going to land directly on the door.
It's like bloody Halo 1, just like, hey.
Yeah, he literally just like
Jumping
leans
downwards.
forward and just like falls down into it. Awesome. You know what, Frank? To make this see exactly how badass you can be, why don't you roll me an exert dexterity check?
All right,
That's what we want to see.
because I roll great all the time.
But you know what though, Frank? I'm willing to give you a modifier of +2 because you're a space pirate. All right.
9.
So you go falling forward, and even though there's no gravity down there, momentum is still a thing, right? And so your body is so freaking heavy. Using the momentum of the force from the initial fall, you actually carries you straight across to the other door. So whereas he jumped in, grabbed onto the rung, spun himself around, and he's climbing forward, you just fall in and literally go all the way down, and you get to the doorway before he does, and he went in before you, and you're just like there, and like you literally use your rifle to stop yourself, like ting against the hole, and you stand there waiting for the door to open up with your rifle right there as he's like climbing down, like that was fucking graceful. You know what I mean? And how does she get in?
She sort of it looked very weird, but luckily no one's actually still up there. Sort of prepare herself so she's climbing downwards, which is very weird in the gravity. But then when it gets no gravity, it's fine. But then she's also got like the battery in her arm. So she's kind of like one hand, a lot of.
Oh, so she like
leg
crouches
movement.
down along the rim and like reaches forward along the rim and like pulls herself forward and holds the battery in one hand, has like one arm pulling herself forward.
It's similar to what he did, but instead of jumping down, she sort of pulls herself down.
I didn't know
yeah.
she was still carrying the battery. Like, Crax would have been like, you, like way before this. You would have been like
That's reasonable.
looking at it.
If that way, I would have gone down a much easier way and then took the battery off him when we got down there.
Yeah, like you just took it on his back
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
He probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, it's only 3 encumbrance. He has plenty of
That's
space.
nothing to him. It's only one.
Seal door 1. Door seals up above, and as soon as the door seals, you guys your suits are designed with scanners to tell you like the immediate pressure and everything inside of your suit on your HUD, but also what's immediately outside of you. And one of the things you notice is while the suit reading its own pressure with the O2 levels or whatever going up and down, fluctuating as normal, outside the suit is usually rather stable. However, outside the suit is like fluctuating. Like all of a sudden, like the air pressure is like drop, and you can even hear the life support overhead doing this. And Rick, once again, you see a little bit of strain on your own life support systems as it's like constantly having to go and fill it up with air again. It's nothing straining enough that you're like, oh shit, our system's gonna break, but it's definitely something that's noteworthy. Moving on. So you guys are now down there and waiting for the door to open up, and this is where he's like, can you open the second door now? Everyone at your ready. And so now with him down below, like I said, he had pulled himself along the rungs. He kind of like hooks one foot underneath a rung to like hold himself like hooked forward, but one foot behind. So he's like, hooking forward this way, but pushing this way to like hold himself steady. And he pulls out I forget what, he has multiple weapons. He has an assault rifle. Sorry, he has a sniper rifle and a pistol. That's right. So he actually pulls out a pistol with a sniper rifle strapped to his back. He pulls out a pistol and has that at the ready right now as the door opens up. Does the Asari have her weapon out too, or does she...
I have my pistol out.
You have your pistol out?
Pistol in one hand, battery in the other.
Okay. Kind of like holding on to the rung or whatever. You could have the battery thrown into a backpack and have that on.
Yeah, I was saying you could just hook it on
I
to
could
me.
just put it in my back. But he said it was important, so she's kind of carrying it around because she doesn't know when she's going to need it.
Sure.
Whereas if you put it in the backpack, that's like whole thing. So she's
Well,
more
that's what I'm
likely
saying. Like, hook it on the Krogan. That way you pretty much always have access. If it's on his back, you can just use him as cover.
if that's allowed, Scott, then sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because I have
Definitely.
Yeah, then I'll have my shotgun out instead.
Yeah, because I have 6 encumbrance that I can use.
Sure.
Because I'm only using 3.
Yeah, I'll jangle it on your back then.
Okay, so he you put it on there, you put it onto him, and then you like continue like lying and holding on to the thing with one hand and holding your pistol out with the other hand?
Oh, I assumed we were pseudo standing at the bottom of this thing.
So you're standing as well? Cool.
Yeah,
So,
I assume the Krogan has like grab boots or something with his suit.
and,
Just because sci-fi.
Yep. And well, like I said, the other one's doing like a hook to the bars. But yep, that's fine. And so he says, open door 2. Door 2 opens up, and instantly on the inside is darkness. Like there were lights inside this tunnel, and some of the light from the tunnel does feed out into the area in there. However, the ship on the other side is complete darkness. Now, he was smart enough to make sure that where you board into close to the bridge, but not the bridge itself. Where you drop into, we will cover when we come back from our next break.
Aha.
See you all in a few minutes.
You just see Cracks fiddling with his Omni-Tool and turn his goggles on.
Go boys!
The goggles.